Welcome. And thank you for joining me in these short reflections. What are we going to do? We're going to try and look and read more deeply into the signs of the times that we have presented to us by the media every day. The signs of the times, making us awake to the social evolution of humanity and to our responsibility for choices in forwarding that evolutionary process. If you live in one of the many countries of Europe, or even in the Americas, round about this time of year, you will be celebrating Carnival, Fasching, Mardi Gras. It goes by many names. It has actually a religious root. It comes from the preparation that Christians used to make for the period of discipline and fasting, spiritual practice called Lent, a reminder of the closeness of what Lent used to be for most Christians to what Ramadan is still for all true believing Muslims. But now, when we read about it in the newspapers or we watch the programs on television, it's a celebration of noise, of fun, of meals together, of joking, and of wearing costumes and masks. It's interesting how much we are concerned with being able to wear masks. Persona, our personalities. Even it's part of our tribal past. Warriors preparing to go to war would paint their faces and put on headdresses. But today our masks in the times of Fasching or Carnival, Mardi Gras, are much more elaborate, such as this one. In fact, one country in Europe, one city, prides itself on the beauty of the masks that are made every year. This one comes from that particular city, Venice. Why masks? Why do we want to hide who we are? Well, there are obviously many reasons. One of them is that we want to portray a personality which we really do not have, like the rather shy, small man who will come to a carnival wearing a lion's mask, or the woman who is pleasant but not outstandingly beautiful, who will choose an exquisitely beautiful mask, hoping that people will be attracted to this face, which isn't hers, rather than the face and the personality she really has. So one of the reasons for wearing masks is it helps us to hide the reality of ourselves and the personalities that we have, and to fantasy that we could actually have a persona people could perceive us as being something other, something we would like to be. Actually, masks are also used for more wide reasons. We're used to the masks that are used in medicine, used to protect us from disease. We've had many scenes recently of people having to wear masks when they're helping patients who have Ebola, for example, a contagious disease. Or even ordinary people going around the streets in their own large city in China, having to wear masks because the pollution in the atmosphere is so strong. So my masks to protect and masks to hide. And frankly, we all have masks which we wear. We have many different persona which we put on for different relationships in our lives. The one for your wife and husband, the one for your boss at work, the one for the grandmother you don't like. Think of some of your own. Be in the same situation with a variety of different people you interact with, have different relationships with, and notice how your persona changes, your personality, the mask you will wear. But for most of us, fairly recently, reading the media, either the newspapers or listening to the radio, watching television, we've become all too aware of hundreds, perhaps thousands of people wearing another type of mask, the black hood, covering the face completely, worn by the Islamic State terrorists or Boko Haram. We're so familiar with them now. Can we try and distance ourselves from our first emotional reaction to those masks? You can say, well, they're meant to inspire fear and terror in those who see them. But is there something else behind that? Let's for a moment just think of the man or the woman who is wearing that mask. Why? Could it be that it hides his or her own fear, panic, anger? Could it be that wearing that mask, I can detach myself from responsibility for the actions, the violence, the brutality that I am involved in and I perform? A mask that makes me one of the group, recognizable not as an individual, but as a terrorist belonging to a wide group of terrorists. It's really a mask that denies personal responsibility, is unable to claim responsibility for the actions and the way I live. Think of the man or woman who is so afraid, so full of shame or anger that he has to do this. He's an ordinary human being, like all of us, so is she. The next time you see a picture of the terrorists wearing these black masks, try and stand behind the man or woman who is wearing it, and try and see the fear, the panic that is making him or her mask hide their own personality. And when you see one of these masks again on television, why not pause for a moment and look at your own masks? Ask yourself, am I really able to stand up, know who I am, let people see who I am, and claim responsibility for all my actions, my thoughts, my prejudices, my greed? Notice why I may wear masks. What am I trying to hide? When we look at masks, whether the beautiful masks of a carnival or the masks of the terrorists, we are looking at human nature's lost sense of self. We are busy about our personas, our personalities, even though our life on this planet Earth is very short. And the unending reality is not this life, but the spirit. I myself have an unending reality. When the personas and the masks are no longer, I will be. That is myself. We lack self-knowledge if we have to wear masks. When we know who we are, the fear, the need to hide, the need to pretense, for wearing a mask disappears. Perhaps if you take those few thoughts away and sit with them for yourself for a while, the next time you see a picture of either Carnival or of the masks of the terrorists, you may see it differently. You may have read more deeply into this sign of our times, to how we are evolving, changing as a human family.